Hello and welcome to the Kindred Essence Tarot and to my latest reading, which is on how to have the funnest weekend or the most terrific weekend. There's my cat arriving, and yeah, sometimes she's part of my videos, sometimes she is not, but that's my cat. So we've got pile number 1, the yellow flashlight pile number 2, the red flashlight pile, and pile number 3, the orange flashlight pile. So tune into what pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3, which one you feel resonates the most with you on how to have the funnest weekend or the most terrific weekend. And yeah, this is a timeless reading, so this can be for this weekend or another weekend. It depends on when you come upon this video. So let's get started. Pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1, the yellow flashlight pile. Let's see how you can have the most funnest or the most terrific weekend. So we've got the King of Wands in reverse, the Five of Wands in reverse. Interesting, we've got Wand energy, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and the Six of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Wands. Interesting, we've got 3 Wand energy. So this is what I'm getting is that you need to switch gears, right? Because the Wands are lots of, passionate, forward-moving energy, right? He's got the world in his hand. He's moving forward with this. The King of Wands is the ultimate of passion and moving forward. So you need to to sort of slow down and sort of have sort of a yellow calming energy into your weekend. So it's sort of like what I'm hearing is that it's hard for you to switch gears. It's almost like when the weekend is over, you almost feel that it never really even began. So what I'm hearing is that when you begin a weekend, it's like you should just sort of at the particular time I'm filming this is for the Easter long weekend, but it's timeless, so it can be for any weekend. But sometimes we're lucky enough to have a 4-day weekend, sometimes not. But what I'm hearing is that you have to be very cognizant of switching gears, right? We've got the Wheel of Fortune here, switching gears, and switching gears to a different energy, right? Like instead of passionately moving forward, instead of being really at the top of your game, if you will, it's like switch energies to sort of a calm, sweet energy, right? Sort of almost a childlike, not childlike, that sounds not quite like that, but sort of just a sort of a calming, sweet energy. So that's what I'm getting is it's very important for you to switch gears because it's like the weekend has when it's time Sunday. By the time Sunday rolls around, it's like it hasn't even begun. And let's see what here, cheerfulness, and I get that was here too. It's sort of like you need to sort of, it's like you're not feeling cheerful. It's like because it's like it's over. So I'm hearing that on Friday or whenever your weekend begins, be very cognizant. Say, I'm switching to another mode. I'm hearing I'm switching to another mode. And prison. It's almost like you feel imprisoned by your work because or what you do during the week, because it's sort of like you don't even have a time off that's separate. So it's like almost like the whole week seems like a prison. And by the way, I don't think it's very healthy the way that our society is set up, but that's another video. Or it's not healthy, like the way that our society is set up in terms of just the whole, well, we get into that, but I won't go into that now. But merchant, it's almost like you feel like you have to continue working during the weekend, and it's sort of like you feel like a prison. So I'm hearing that almost scheduling time for relaxation, but not even more than that. It's sort of like switching. Even if you do work on the weekend, like housework, it's like it won't feel like a prison if you make it feel like it's like I'm no longer in work mode. It's very important to switch gears, right? With the Wheel of Fortune, switching gears, and yeah, like switching gears, and also sorrow. Interesting, prison, and it's interesting, sorrow and cheerfulness. See what I can get with that. It's a lot of like, it's sort of like I think you understand sort of the unhealthiness. You could be a star person, and you understand the sort of unhealthiness behind so I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction. You understand the unhealthiness behind the whole work, how we have our society set up with the whole, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's all part of a whole, like, unhealthy mechanism. I'm hearing with the Wheel and Fortune, and you recognize that, but I'm hearing you may want to maybe eventually find your way out of that and into something like a healthier situation that doesn't somehow isn't sort of controlled. I hear, like, I see this image of him controlling the world. It's not like controlled by the same mechanisms was what I'm hearing. And yeah, conversation. I'm hearing like um, you may want to have a conversation with yourself about how you set up your weekend, and maybe a conversation with others, but it's more a conversation with yourself about yeah, going you like I'm in a different mode now. I'm in a different mode, and now I'm in a different mode, and that's how I feel. Like, it's like, so at least you can get a reprieve from the grind. But I'm hearing that yeah, it's almost like you're very faithful to your work, but it can almost feel like a prison. It can almost feel like a prison. So I'm hearing that you may want to think about other options, and they may come to you, and they can be various. But I'm hearing that they might come to you in the next month, in the next couple of years, or no, the next couple of months, maybe next 7, 8 months, or 3 months, or something like that. But it's sort of like you might see a different way. That's a different. Even I'm hearing maybe not entirely out of your own job, but a different doing it yourself. I'm hearing in some cases in a different way that doesn't make you feel like you're so much in prison, like doing the same work but differently. And also, yeah, I'm hearing, yeah, again, like, yeah, just setting it up differently, setting up a whole different mindset. And maybe that may include working for yourself, so you can set your own hours and sort of not feel like you're on this grind that somebody else has created. But it's sort of like I hear, yeah, very much like a shift needs to occur overall. But at the very least, changing a mindset when you're on your weekend, like changing a mindset of like, yeah, I'm on the weekend now, so I'm so you feel like you actually get that reprieve in the situation that you're in now. But I'm hearing that the situation that you're in now is very much good, could very likely change very soon. But for now, make sure that you have that very definitive boundary, so you at least feel like you have a weekend, if that makes any sense. All right, so that's all we've got for pile one, the yellow flashlight pile. Now let's see pile number two, the red flashlight pile. We got the Seven of Wands in reverse, the Six of Wands in reverse, the Hanged Man in reverse. Interesting. And the this Ace of Swords in reverse. We're getting all reversed cards. Interesting. Let's see what this is. Oh, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Interesting. So all reversed cards. That's very significant. Okay. So I'm hearing. I'm gonna go to the. Oh, not quite yet. I'll go to those a little bit. The Gypsy Oracle in a little bit. But what I'm hearing is that, let's see, is victory could be interesting. This is about the weekend, but and having a better weekend, but it somehow connects to something else with this pile. So I'm hearing that victory could be yours very soon if you change a little bit of something in your life, or change some sort of perspective that has gotten you in a rut. Interesting. Like you're trying to get yourself out of a rut, but I'm hearing that, yeah, if you get yourself out of this rut, if you keep on pushing out of this rut, victory, there could be very much a victory and a change in your fortune that's very good, it's very positive, that could change the whole nature of how you see weekends and how you spend your weekends. Something can change that could give you more freedom, could give you more a sense of expansiveness, a sense of things, a sense of power. That something. So that's how I'm going to begin the reading. But then, so yeah, something could change. If you change, you're right. It's like you're on the edge of something that could change just how entirely your weekends are, and it could be a change in your work situation. It could be, but that's the beginning of it. Now let's focus on. So I was just giving that message, but then let's talk about how can you have a better weekend. I'm hearing that for some it could be assertiveness, and I'm hearing a planning, like it could be advantageous for you to plan a fun activity for the weekend, a fun activity that you enjoy. Because I got falseness, so something. So sometimes, so what I get is that you sometimes you feel like you're pulled into activities that you do not enjoy with people that you don't always interesting that you don't like. You're sort of pulled into, interesting, I get falseness in the house. You're pulled into an activity. It could be something, what's popping to mind, it could be a myriad of different things, but it's popping is going to a Sunday dinner with in-laws that you don't particularly like, that kind of thing, right? I'm hearing it, the energy of that. I'm not saying it's necessarily that, or it could be that, but it's sort of like, um, you kind of want to be away from those people, and you want to, so yeah, I hear you being sucked into these activities that you don't like for the weekend, and I'm hearing it's quite sometimes frustrating for you because you don't feel like you have boundaries. Melody, interesting, and I got doctor and melody, and it's kind of, it's almost like what I'm getting at that in one thread of this is that it's sort of, you don't have the time to heal yourself. You don't have the time to heal yourself or to create your own fortune on the weekend. You feel, but yeah, I get this image if you get pulled into like going to somebody's house that you don't like. It makes you feel false, even though you're not false, but it makes you feel false because you don't really want to go there. And it's just like, yeah, that's the example. Or going, could be even hanging out with a friend you don't, and it's like, oh, you don't really want to hang out with this person, but you do. Or you don't, and you kind of, you're sucked into activities that you don't really like, and it makes you feel almost like boundaries. You don't feel like you have boundaries in your situation, right? You don't feel, and I got room again. Room. You feel like you almost like you want to spend time in your own room, but you're sucked into someone's house. Like it's like the precious time that you have. You're like sucked into somebody else's plan. It makes you feel very sort of and disempowered. With the red flash, it is about power, and you feel very disempowered, and it's sort of like, yeah. So I hear that you need to make room for the love that and the energy that you wish toward the weekend. You may want to talk to your loved ones about this, but you may want to first sort of set boundaries with yourself about what you are or are not willing to put up with during the weekend, and like what you're willing to have, or sort of like, yeah, like how you want the things to be set. And nine want that I see what I keep on getting is that I got this before. It's sort of like I see the sense of you just kind of want to have a space to yourself, going to your own room, but you're sucked into somebody else's house. You feel false even though you're not false. But I'm hearing again, I get the Nine of Wands coming out, and that's about independence. Independence. So I sense that you're like, and sort of an independent person, but you get sucked into all these activities, and you get these boundary infringements that you do not wish to have, and it makes you feel defensive. Yeah, I got my defensive person card. That's what I call Nine of Wands. I call it the defensive person, or feeling defended card, right? And it's sort of like you feel defensive, and it's frustrating because you want to have space to yourself, but you almost want to have time for your own spiritual enjoyment. So I'm hearing in some cases you may want to create your own space for your own spiritual enjoyment, but you also may want to go to like maybe a meetup group or something that's like away from this, away from like that you can kind of create. I'm thinking an avenue to create your own space. So maybe joining some sort of spiritual meetup group, or some sort of meetup group where you feel actually, where you feel your emotional flowing self or something. I'm trying to articulate it right with the Ace of Cups. Sort of like your own self can have its own nourishment, and you don't have to feel so defended. So I'm hearing that, yeah, in some cases you could create like a friendship circle, or something that's sort of through the internet, finding a group, meet up. But there's other groups too. You can use your intuition. I hear with the high priestess, you can use your intuition to figure out exactly what that is. But kind of, I hear that like a spiritual group is needed, that you can kind of maybe keep your separate space from these people, from not these people. I don't know why I keep on saying that, but it's sort of like, yeah, I sense that your boundaries get infringed, and you want to have a space where that doesn't happen. So maybe through a group or something. I mean, I heard even you could even make up a group. You could even, and I guess that's not, maybe I shouldn't say that, but you could, maybe, make up some sort of group that, non-existent group that sort of gives you a space, or, or go to a group, but maybe not always, go there. Just creating a sort of a space that's separate from sort of your boundaries being infringed, and sort of almost forced into situations that you don't want to go to. So it's something like that. However you do that, you'll use your intuition to figure out the best way to do that. But yeah, the new intuition, I got the magician, which is very much about claiming your power. So that's what I see, is that you need to claim your power to create your own life. And it could be not just the weekend, could be one aspect of it, but could it be an aspect of your whole life, of just, people infringing on your boundaries, and not, not doing what you need, what you're allowed to do, what you want to do. Like, it's sort of like, so the journey that is to sort of create your own power and your own boundaries, so people don't infringe on them, and you decide what you need to do. If you want to go into that room and not go to that house all the time, you can do that. You have the power to do that. You have it's very much an exercise. And I'm hearing, even if you were to say no one time, it would almost make you feel better, and maybe you could hang out with these people, more. Because if you could just say no one time, it would just lead to a sense of empowerment, or creating your own space or your boundaries in some ways. Surprise. And I'm hearing you might be surprised how it turns out. People might be more receptive to your ideas than you think, is what I'm hearing. You might be surprised that people, an enemy, and I hear that although you do have, it's interesting, I heard something with enemy. It's like, although you do have enemies, or you could have enemies, they're not sometimes who you think they are. And some people that you think are enemies are not, and some people that you don't think are enemies are. So it's interesting. That's just a random message I got. Take it if it resonates. Don't take it if it doesn't resonate. But yeah, that's what I got. Like, sometimes something about enemies. Like, you may not always know who your enemies are. You may think someone's an enemy when they're not an enemy, or they're just, or something like that. Lord, and it's like, yeah, that's what I see. There's sort of like, there's people that may not have your best intentions at heart, and then there's people that there are. I'm hearing that there's a divided line here between people who want your best interest, and they have your best interest at heart, and then there's people that don't, and that you kind of need to know the difference between that by going into the intuition. I hear it's sort of like you feel so enwrapped in people's stuff right now, that over the weekend, that it's sort of like it's hard to even, it's almost like I see it, your mind and your psyche is becoming sort of almost like a cobweb, and it's like you don't even know what to do. And I'm hearing a short small vacation might help you to sort of get away from some people. Like, it may sort of help you to sort of create a boundaries to get away from these some people. And some people are good, some people are bad, but you've got to, I'm trying to articulate it right. But yeah, some people have your best interest, and they do care for you. Some people care about what they can get from you, but you need to know the difference. That sometimes it's sort of like going into a space of, yeah, intuition, your own room, kind of having a separate energy from this will help you clarify it. But yeah, I hear for some that a spiritual group would be helpful to you to sort of get away from this cobweb of whatever this is, just sort of this separate space, these separate boundaries. That could be helpful to you. But yeah, that's all we've got for pile number 2. And then we've got pile number 3. So what have we got for pile number 3? We've got the orange flashlight pile. So let's see what we have for the orange flashlight pile, the final, last but not least, for what is the best way, how to have the best weekend, the most funnest weekend, the most, yeah, just the, how can you have a better weekend? So we've got Five of Cups in upright, interesting. The Hierophant in reverse, the King of Swords in reverse, the Chariot, and the High Priestess. Interesting. So the first words I got were, you're kind of like, you're struggling to get away from something on the weekend. You're struggling to get away from something, but I'm hearing, are you really? Or it's sort of like this. It's sort of like the week. This is what I'm hearing. It's like the weekend is sort of a microcosm of something that's going on in your life, something you're trying to get away from. Interesting. And something that would be better faced head on. And this would only resonate for some, but yeah, it's sort of like something that's the first messages, but I'll be getting other messages as well. But it's sort of like you kind of it's sort of the weekend is something to get away from something, but I'm like, it could be better faced head on. And it's like, I sense you're sort of going through this sort of dark time where you sort of, what I'm hearing, you kind of get away from people on the weekend, where something should be better faced head on. It's sort of like it's a microcosm of everything that's going on in your life right now. Interesting. And that may not resonate for some, but for some it would. So I'm hearing that they're sort of like, for some, and this is going to take a completely different turn, but for some that it's good. I'm hearing you're doing good with certain aspects of your weekend, as in I'm hearing that you have sort of a spiritual practice that you have on the weekend, which is positive. It's like where you have almost like a spiritual discipline, I'm hearing, which is positive, and that helps you. It could be an enjoyable, it could be a meditation group, and I'm hearing that this is a positive thing for the people that this resonates for. So it's sort of like, keep on doing that. But I'm hearing for others that you may want to create sort of a clarity. You may want to create this spiritual, like, not discipline, because I don't like that word, but sort of like you may want to create something that's enjoyable on the weekend. That's sort of like being out in nature, or being around people that are kind of like-minded, spiritual, but or something that sort of. But I hear that some of the people that pick this group, they already have that down pat. But some people sort of need to create that. But it's sort of like, but I'm hearing that, yeah, the weekend is sort of a microcosm of something that's going on in your life that isn't so good, almost something that you're trying to escape from. And I hear it's sort of like the weekend turns into sort of like a self-medication fast. Like, it's sort of like, in some cases, it's sort of like, and it's sort of like, I'm getting a different thread, so it's not resonate for everybody. But it's sort of like it turns into something, and I'm hearing this could be kind of temporary, because it's something that's going on in your life right now, and it's like it's like you keep on, like, it's sort of like on the weekend, it's sort of like an escape, but it's sort of like an escape that isn't all it could be. Like, it's sort of, it's sort of like what I'm hearing is, yeah, you're going to some sort of form of like some self-medication, maybe drinking, which doesn't have to resonate for everybody, or some sort of other form of medication, which isn't necessarily bad. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's often it's the energy. There's nothing wrong with drinking or doing pot on the weekend or anything like that, but it's sort of like it's a sort of a microcosm of a little bit of an escapism, when something should be more faced head on, is what I'm hearing. So, and I'm hearing that you could even do the same activities, but if they're done with a different energy, is what I'm hearing. Despair, and it could come from a sense of despair. It's sort of like if you like if you were, you could do the same activities, but they're highlighting these activities only because they're an escape from something, is what I'm hearing. Like, it's not to be, you know, judgmental or anything like that, but it's an escape from something. We all do that. So I'm hearing that when um yeah, like when you shift your mindset to the sort of this thing that you're trying to escape from, and face it head on, your weekends will shift. But I'm hearing you do not feel, if you self medicate on the weekend, through drinking or pot or whatever it is, even sometimes with other people, I hear, like sometimes with other people, like you kind of may or may not bond with other people over sort of the same thing. But I'm just hearing that maybe when you do this, you maybe want to sort of inject an energy of spiritual energy to these activities, or have a, a spiritual activity that sort of counterbalances. And I'm hearing that when you do that, your whole life will shift, and then the weekend, which is a microcosm of your life, will shift as well. And um service, interesting, service came out. So it's sort of like, or I get a sort of, I'm getting the energy of like sort of this afflictiveness during the week that happens, perhaps at work. And then at the end of the week, you just feel almost a sense of draining for the Five of Cups, just being like, constantly of service to people. And it's just a little bit more. I'm hearing that you could handle 100%, but it goes to 120, 130%. And it sort of just drains you so much that it's sort of, you go to a self-medication weekend, and it's sort of the same sort of cycle goes over and over and over. And I'm hearing that, yeah, by injecting something different in the weekend, you could sort of break the cycle psychologically. By, you could break it and create something um, different on the weekend. And yeah, faithfulness. So interesting, I hear you have the need for faithful friends, but sometimes where you look, I'm hearing there aren't always faithful friends. So I'm hearing something for some, and this, don't only take this if it resonates. You may want to use the weekend to sort of shift, not move, not give up on your current friend group, but maybe um, find it like, maybe find a group where it's a little bit that, where people have a little bit of a different mindset, as what I'm hearing. Because it's sort of like, I hear that sometimes you, over the weekend, you connect with people who have sort of a oppressive or mindset about life, is what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that it sometimes, it doesn't resonate for everybody. It affects you more than you think, that being with these people that have this kind of mindset. So I'm hearing that, yeah, they're not necessarily bad, but it's just like, you may want to find people. And I'm saying, and I'm hearing like you could find people that are sort of a different thinking, and are sort of out of this certain waiting mindset. Like, so it's just people, just put that intention out there. But I'm hearing different things. It's like the most important thing is that you change your mindset. And if there's people that have sort of a negative mindset that you're around on the weekend, you may want to sort of cleanse, like, what it was interesting, I got like, take back your own mind. Take back your own mind, and and sort of create your own energy space that's different from this, if that's well, so you're not pulled into this energy of despair, that you're brought into a different energy. But yeah, I do see for some it might be advantageous to put out the intention to find people of a different mindset and energy, because it could be the thing that shifts your mindset. And it kind of, I see the word dominoes, and I see a image of dominoes, um, like flowing. When you hit one domino, those cool little domino, contraptions, and then the whole dominoes fall, and then everything shifts. So I'm hearing this could be the domino, something that another group or another mindset or something. I'm hearing it could be something different that I haven't even thought of, that you can think of, but that will create the dominoes that will go in a different perspective, and really take your life into another direction with the Chariot here very quickly. And I'm hearing that your intuition, I'm getting something else here too, that is very important for you to have a time, maybe 4 hours, to just maybe meditate for 4 hours, to to find a different mind, like sort of find your intuitive, this is what I'm hearing. You need to find your own inner guidance again, and that will help you get out of this rut. It will help you move forward, and then dominoes will fall. So, yeah, setting aside a time to enhance your intuition, which I'm hearing some feel that they have lost, but you have not lost it. You have not lost your intuition. It is waiting for you, and your intuition wants to link with your powerful forward moving mind and move you forward into a much better situation. Like I said, I saw the dominoes fall in a positive way, and it wants to do that. It wants to move you forward into a spiritual direction. And just having that slight mindset, I'm hearing like all you need is a slight shift, and your dominoes will fall in a good way. Your dominoes, all you need is a slight shift, and your dominoes will, the wheels of the dominoes will get, in motion and move forward in a positive way. Interesting. Let's see if I can get maybe one or two more cards. And I'm getting foe. And I'm hearing that it's sort of like you need to, the foes in your mind or outward. It could be because things that are outside can be a reflection, and they generally are, of something inside. Sort of like this dark. I see this image of this person following you around with a knife behind you. Interesting. That's an interesting. It may not resonate for everybody, but it's sort of like it could be this energy field. It could be a person, but it could be this energy field that's attached to you. That's kind of making it hard to get out of this depressive rut. But I'm hearing your intuition is waiting for you. You have not lost it as you have feared. And you can release this dark, like dagger person behind you that always seems to be chasing you in the form of a person or in the form of an energy or a form of something that's inside of you that's attached, that does not belong to you. But I'm hearing you can attach to your intuition, and you can move yourself out of this rut very easily. Your intuition is waiting for you. Your inner guidance is waiting for you. And you have a very rich inner guidance waiting for you. And yeah, I heard 4 hours. Like doing some sort of spiritual practice for 4 hours would somehow get you, because you're able to get it together right here, just with a little bit of a nudge, and you can easily regain the power that you feel you've lost, but you haven't lost. And intuition is very important to gaining that power again. You will easily get on track. You will easily move forward, and you will easily regain your power again. So that's all we've got for pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe give a like or comment if this resonated. I've also got other videos, like a lot of pick card readings on cats, intuition, dreams, narcissistic abuse healing, and a variety of other subjects. So check that out in the playlist section. I've got an extensive playlist of various pick a card videos. Check that out and see if it is worth it for you to subscribe. But have a good weekend. Bye-bye.